Okay. The one that they did in 1994 with Winona Ryder. I really liked the Greta Gerwig version. I know everybody went wild over it, but Winona forever.
Are you shocked?
Very.
So. Little Women means a lot of things to me. I grew up with Little Women. My mother read me an abridged version when I was a little girl, and when I was around 11 on a trip to New England, we stopped at Orchard House, where Louisa May Alcott grew up. And there were all sorts of stories like that. I think that Little Women is in the vein of these novels that express the American mythos of tenacity by talking about children, you know. So you have like Laura Ingalls Wilder, and you have Mark Twain, and you really have Louisa May Alcott. So I grew up with those stories in the house. Personally, Little Women means a lot to me because I identify so much with Jo's story. Like a lot of people who engage with Little Women, people always think that they're Jo. Everyone thinks that they're Jo. But I engage with her story on a very personal level because I grew up to be an artist the way she grows up to be a writer. And my sister died when I was 15. And, you know, I ultimately think that Little Women is a story about loss and how you grow and change and move on out of that loss. And so I feel just a lot of personal connection to the story, even though I was growing up in the 90s and the aughts, and these girls are growing up in the 1860s. Just feel like I'm not so different. It's really different from producing traditional theater. And I think the most exciting thing for me has been finding the creativity within this medium. You know, when the pandemic happened and theater moved toward telling stories in this digital format, I was very circumspect about that, because to me, the heart of theater is being in the room with the artists. But I think that the ways I've been wrong about that have been hugely surprising. That there is a lot of creativity, that when you fully engage with this medium, that it doesn't have to be a compromise, has been exciting. When you accept that you're producing a digital show and you say, how far can I go with my creativity within this format, you find that there are really fulfilling ways to make art, even in this digital format. And I didn't think that that would happen. I was wrong. So. I wrote this adaptation in the summer of 2019. And I believed when I wrote it that adaptations of Little Women keep coming back, and we keep creating and recreating Little Women. And like, I was thinking a lot about why we do that. And I believed at the time that it was because ultimately when you focus down on the story of these four girls, that the themes are universal, right? The themes around childhood, around growing up, around losing people we love, around finding out who we are timeless themes. But I think as 2020 happened and the pandemic has happened, that Little Women has only become more relevant. and that we can identify with it more now. Because in 2019, I wasn't necessarily engaging with the part of the story that is about scarcity and hardship. This being a story that takes place during a very difficult war in American history, right? So I see in the March Sisters now this need to make fun for themselves, as Joe says, to stay inside, create things, to love each other because you're in front of me. And certainly that theme of moving on out of loss has only become more necessary this year, as there has been so much loss.
Right on his head. Why does the winkle always turn to the left when he comes down to breakfast in the morning? The answer is the winkle shell turns